G2 and NRG. You heard the desk, or I guess our panel at home, talk about it, and they're absolutely right. This is a matchup. It's a classic matchup. It's a matchup between historically two of North America's best teams, the quote Big Three as it used to be. And it's exciting to see them match up here in the regional championship. And they also they touched on when they played during league play as well. It felt like NRG really ran away with it in a very strange series from G2. I certainly do not expect that to happen again here.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think that, going into this tournament, I would honestly have picked G2 over NRG because while NRG, they haven't looked completely dominant, they're still, you have to respect their potential. But overall, G2 have had a much cleaner season, overall throughout league play. But with how we've seen NRG so far today with that 4-0 sweep against Sonics, it was looking clean as can be as well. It's them and then Ghost right now that have been really impressing me. NRG looking like they're back into that world championship form. So that's a scary thing to go against G2 right now. So I think this is going to be a nail biter of a series, neck and neck, both teams so close. The skill gap, you can't even see it.
I certainly agree that this will be a very close series, and what we've seen before from NRG, at least today, they've been extremely strong. Yeah. Justin's looking crispy. Turbopulsa and Garrett doing everything they need to do to make this team look so good. It's our first look at G2 now today. Let's see how they do going up a very hot NRG in game number 1.
And I think Turbo, he's a huge factor. We expect to see the creativity, the defensive prowess. And then also on that, I think NRG, puts a lot of faith into Turbo to, ease the comms, make them less nervous, make them have fun. And we've seen what that can do to NRG whenever they're goofing around and not taking it as serious as possible. Even if you pay attention to their comms video, they're crazy with how they really go about doing things. And it's going to be crazy to see how Turbo can get those unique Turbo goals that we see all season.
Yeah, I'm sure he's planning on it as usual, as he has gotten some interesting goals throughout the season, and really even last season as well. Things starting off pretty much a stalemate here. G2 are on the offensive third, but it does feel like these teams taking it slow. They're very well versed in how both of them play. Seen these players season over season. As again, back to the G2 side. Chicago looking for options in the midfield. It was Justin who turns it away. JNaps dunked away, and it comes down to Justin in an open net for him to put it home. NRG on the board first.
You love to see the reaction from Justin with that pinch across. Garrett G hits Justin right in the perfect spot. He's ready and somehow prepared for that pinch across. A bit of a fortunate position for Justin, but nonetheless, he takes advantage of it and makes use of it.
So NRG on the board first. G2 looking to respond back as Turbopulsa to take this one from the midfield. Garrett also goes up for it. Now Rizzo. Dunked away. Garrett trying to force the issue for NRG. Pass off the sidewall. Here's Justin. Didn't have much boost to work with, but does get to it. A follow-up from Garrett. Puts it away, and NRG a 2-goal lead.
This time it's Garrett actually being the one with the better positioning instead of Justin. Look at the speed. Justin got up to that aerial. Chicago needed to get a touch there as well. He couldn't find it, and Garrett G crashed at the net beautifully. So far, we're seeing the results of all this pressure from game 1 on the side of NRG.
And NRG will take advantage of the space and time that you give them. I heard in the cast before, Shogun and Johnny talking about how NRG don't give up too many mistakes, and they will punish you on the mistakes that you make. G2, a team that can make mistakes if they're not playing up to snuff for that day, but generally a team that has looked good through the midfield. Right now, NRG doing a great job of disrupting that and just not letting G2 into their own game plan, and there's Justin once again to put it away.
You just talked about it, Corelli. It's all about punishing these mistakes. Garrett G, he's given so much space. And I'm looking at Rizzo, who had needed to make a decision. He only had about 28 boosts remaining. Still just enough to go for a shot. Pushing himself maybe into the corner. But either way, you just talked about it. Winning midfield for G2 has been their thing. But so far, we're seeing them get outpaced and outclassed right now.
2 minutes and 30 seconds left here in game one, and it's all NRG. They've just been quicker so far, especially in that final third. G2 really haven't been given a chance to play their game. Finding themselves on defense quite a bit. Chicago and Rizzo link up to put it downfield. Here's Turbo Pulsa to pick it up. Had boost to work with. Side flips to let Garrett go through. And a dangerous ball comes out straight to Justin. Back post shot off the crossbar save from Rizzo. And NRG, they were way backed up on that play. They did not want to overcommit. Garrett and Turbo were way back. And it is coming down to the control game for NRG. They don't have to run up the score if they don't need to. Turbo to his right corner. Here's G2 looking for them to put something together. Haven't seen much of that passing game that's been so magical for them throughout the years. Here's Justin trying to pick it up with Turbo Pulse. So a little disorganization, but in the end, Chicago comes out with it. Back post shot cleared away by Justin.
Yeah, and it's just a slower game, really, from G2. I've been watching Rizzo's perspective a lot of this time, and like you talked about, you know, we're waiting to see those passes, those midfield hits. And for Rizzo, he's positioning himself really all the way across. The spacing has been really great here. We can see him right now taking advantage of it finally as they get a pass across. But that's about the first one we've seen so far. Rizzo, while he can position himself forward, as they just run away with it now. Mistakes have been made on the side of G2. NRG are always there to punish.
And that one hurts to watch because I'm pretty sure JNaps was just get back at that point. He didn't think that was actually going to go so cleanly for Chicago straight at him. And it comes off of JNaps and sets up a counterattack for NRG. Now a 4-goal lead for them. And like we've been saying, NRG, when you give them a chance, they will take it. And they convert once again.
Yeah, and their defense has been solid so far this entire game one. While they haven't been pressed a little bit too hard by the side of G2 with those passes, it's just been kind of basic shots towards the net, maybe some booming clears that they have to receive. We haven't seen any mistakes, and their speed has been phenomenal. We can thank Justin and Garrett G for that in the aggressive side of the field. They've been being aggro, getting in the faces. Even here, look at Garrett G. He's winning out in the midfield, creating space, and wasting a lot of time, and now his teammates have boost on the defensive side. They can get the save. So many opportunities wasted from G2.
There's G2 a chance. Rizzo, hard shot on target, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter here in game one. Down 4 goals with 5 seconds left. It's just not going to happen for G2, and you might just chalk this one up to a slow start if you're a G2 fan, because it certainly was slow as NRG ran all over them here in game one.
Yeah, definitely just throw away that entire game one, really. I think that they had some good looks so far. Like I said, I like the positioning of Rizzo. I was watching his perspective. He was spacing out the field rather well, but I think moving forward, we can expect a little bit more from JNaps, as he basically had full donuts across the board, all zeros, no assists and nothing really from him. And he's a player who this entire season has been a huge contender for that MVP slot. I think that he definitely had a lot of potential to even earn it. He's been playing amazing, not only on the shooting side now, but also on the passing. All that started, you know, last season in the promotion tournament. He's carried it out here. So we want to see more involvement of JNaps and the Chicago duo, where they can have Rizzo come and crash the net.
I think it's just more involvement across the board from G2. We saw a couple passes here and there, maybe just dropping off from the wall to the midfield, but not really into those combination plays through the midfield that we know and love from G2 here against NRG. And that might just be because NRG knows it's coming and they're able to cut it off, and they're smart enough to read what G2 want to do. But that's what G2 needs to figure out. When NRG adapts to your play style, what else do you have in the bag? Because right now in game one, NRG read you like a book.
Yeah, I think it's those solo plays, and NRG, they took advantage of it even against Sonics. It was Justin, Gary G, even Turbo sometimes would go for those solo plays, create space, even when they didn't have the midfield pass. So for G2, I think you have to outflick, out-dribble Justin and Garrett after winning a challenge. So let's see how they can bounce back here in the second game of the series.
A new clock and a fresh start for G2 here in game two. Rizzo already getting a demo on Turbo Pulsa, and Rizzo had a couple chances last game and couldn't convert. NRG already this close to getting their first goal. JNaps off the back wall. Chicago's there, and Turbo Pulsa had to go. Garrett, heavy touch towards Rizzo, might leave G2 some opportunity here. Turbo there to just slow it down off the back wall now. G2 looking for a shot. It's Chicago, but it was light and turned away by Garrett. Rizzo tried to salvage it. It does pinch it back towards JNaps. JNaps,
flip
reset. Over a second touch. No, turned away by Justin as he was able to stick with that play throughout the antics of JNaps.
Love what I'm seeing so far from G2. This has already been, you can tell from the first minute, so much more threatening. JNaps, like I talked about, those solo plays, we want to see those flip resets, those little moments of opportunities that he can create. And also the passes have been on point. Chicago, he had one chance, he had a little bit of a light shot, but that has been the best look so far from G2.
Rizzo gets beat just over his head, and Justin to put it away for NRG.
And he did it all himself. He started out in the corner, won the challenge, beat out the defender, carried it slowly, and caught Rizzo completely out of position. And that's a little bit frustrating because Rizzo in that situation, he would expect somebody to maybe get a touch, you know, give him some time to get back. But Justin just made it look too easy and embarrassed the defense.
Now G2, 3.5 minutes to find the equalizer here. As it is Chicago, back out to JNaps. Shot, got 2 to go from NRG, but they do make the save. And NRG now pressing Justin, looking for a double tap. He can do it off the crossbar and in. NRG a 2-goal lead.
He is too clean with it right now. Justin, look at how fast he is into the air and then gets the double touch. Perfectly reads it off the backboard. It's one thing to beat out the defender. He already made the great play, the great move, but then he followed it up himself. Justin doesn't need anybody right now in this series to score a goal.
Justin looking quite a bit like Atomic, and through his 2 series, just scoring goals left and right. A strong start here for NRG in game 2. And NRG really, or excuse me, G2 really haven't had any answer. They've had a couple opportunities, but they haven't been that strong. NRG's defense have been able to get in front of it, and they've been able to set up plays downfield. That's a dangerous one coming off of JNap's own back wall. And Justin gets the dunk on Chicago. Rizzo forced to make a tough one as he plays across the box. Here's Turbo Pulsa back down to Garrett. Shot upper corner, couldn't find it. And great passing comes out from NRG, and they're just that close to finding their third.
Yeah. It was a lovely play, a lovely setup from NRG, where Turbo, I think, went for that midfield pass out to Garrett G. And I love the selflessness of a lot of those plays where they don't actually go for the shot when they had the chance. Instead, they're trying to set up their opponent. But good passing from G2 as we clear the pitch to find Chicago on the other side.
Yeah, great shot there from Rizzo. Hit with pace. Here's time and space now for Chicago. He's got to get by 1. Justin gets a piece of it to slow him down. G2 attempting those passing plays and attempting the solo plays as well. We've seen JNaps and Chicago both bring the ball down. Here's Rizzo. Can't get by Turbo. Plays it over to Garrett. Couldn't get over Chicago. Time running out for G2, and that one's unlucky for JNaps as he misread it, and it slips under him. Chicago plays it down for G2. Can they find something here late in game 2? JNaps trying to force the issue. Rizzo was there. And for NRG, they're happy to see this one out. Not much of a disturbance on the defensive side for NRG. It's been quite easy for them to play this ball out, and they're just really throwing it to the midfield and say, okay, go again, G2, try again. Because right now, they're not doing anything.
Pay attention to a lot of those shots. You're completely right on the mark, really. Because for instance, all those shots that we just saw recently were just tossed to the NRG defensive side. They weren't intentional at all. No second touch as Garrett G punishes another mistake on the defensive side of G2, where it feels at this point where it might just be a mechanical issue as Justin also gets the thing.
Yeah, and it looks like the defense of G2 thought Justin was going to get that ball. JNaps was trying to read his touch, and he didn't, which slowed down the defense just a beat for Garrett to catch back up to it and put a shot on target and in. And again, NRG capitalizing on those very minor mistakes from G2 as what's led to another goal. Here's Justin. Hard shot off the crossbar. Follow-up from Garrett goes high. Turbo happy to put this one up. Garrett lurking around in the box. He'll take a boost. Turbo all the way back. G2 need to rally real quickly here. Less than 30 seconds to go.
They need something.
Big clear from Garrett. That might just do it here in game 2. And a demo will slow things down for G2. This ball comes straight out to Turbo. And at this point, it's really just been over for G2. NRG, once again, have just been the better team through 2 games. And it feels like G2, that slow start has continued into game 2.
I mean, it's completely the mechanics and the speed aspect of the game right now. And that honestly could come down to the boost. I think next game I'm going to try and pay a little bit more attention to who's being the most dominant right now with the boost, because it seems like G2 for the most part, I mean, we're seeing 8 shots out of them. It's not bad. 8 shots to 10, which means, you know, they are having a lot of pressure put forward. They have opportunities, but compare what we've been seeing from G2 out of NRG. We have players like Justin. We saw it where he's so fast on the offensive side. He gets the double touch. It's mechanical plays like that that are making the difference for NRG, because they're outpacing and they're out shooting everybody right now on G2, who are not looking the best mechanically.
Well, and that's, I mean, Justin's always been so fast. It's no surprise to see him play so well and so quickly here, but for G2, it's really about that offense that I'm worried about. They've been able to slow up a lot of NRG's touches and offensive tries. It's been mistakes that NRG have been able to jump on. But for G2, it's that offense. You know, they did put up 8 shots, like you said.
Yeah.
None of them were very memorable, really, from the G2 side. There was a couple chances on the goal line that NRG had to make a good save, and credit to them, they did have quite a bit of saves. But it just seems like G2 have got to get a bit more creative, because right now NRG are expecting everything that G2's throwing at them.
Yeah, I think it really is the speed of how you hit the ball, because G2, I think they look the best with their passes when they are completely booming every single ball they can get as fast as possible to the other side of the pitch. Because while they might be a little bit predictable with their midfield passes, I don't think they need to switch up their play style so long as they can at least speed up those hits. Because so far, Chicago, even last game, he had a chance to put one on net. It was just a weak hit. And multiple times we've seen that across the board from JNABs and Rizzo, where the hits are just a little bit too soft, where they need to be really trying to find that mechanical speed.
So we're off to game 3. And right now it's been all NRG. And they are controlling that midfield once again. G2 very wrapped up on their own side. They will get a welcome clear. Now Justin looking to beat the first defender, couldn't do so from Chicago. JNABs picks it up, shot on target, just a bit high. Follow up from Rizzo. This is G2's chance. Can they put something away? Tough touch here for Chicago, and not enough boost will slow down the attack. And NRG gets out.
Chicago there. It was a soft touch. I love the idea to go for it again. It's just the execution. You know Chicago's trying to control that, maybe get a double touch or at least stall out for his teammates, but it's just too easy, too light for NRG to recover.
It does feel that way. G2 looking to press the issue once again. Or maybe they couldn't before early on. Free ball for Garrett. He'll boom it downfield. 2 demos for Rizzo.
Now there's space.
To Chicago off the ceiling, looking for that shot near post. JNABs, it goes over his head, gets Rizzo to go. So everyone from G2 involved on the play, and they do get back. NRG attempting the counter downfield, and Turbo will demo JNABs out of the way. This game getting quite bloody here as demos coming out. Now here's JNABs, just Turbo pulls it a beat over the back shoulder, and G2 on the board.
This is it, the classic G2. Look at that, Rizzo, the side touch to Chicago, and then he clears it across for JNABs where there's space. We saw earlier Rizzo was getting involved. He had a double demo to cause a lot of the panic initially to start out and flood through the minds of NRG, and now G2 have got themselves on the board here. In Game 3, we're looking at a huge comeback that we could be seeing. They're energized.
Big shot from Justin, and that could be it. Like you said, Turtle, you need some energy from G2, and this first goal could be the proof that they need, that they can score one against NRG, but Justin comes barreling through and sends the defense into a tough spot. G2, I like seeing this from Rizzo, bringing this one down, but didn't keep a hold of it in the end. Turbo looking for Garrett, and NRG setting up a play through the midfield, and Garrett's touch is a little bit too heavy. A counter now for G2. Chicago's touch is too far, and now Garrett, if he could get the touch, had a free shot and couldn't do so. Still, G2 hanging on to their 1-goal lead, but that was scary.
Now the mechanics really plaguing a lot of NRG as Garrett had a clear shot at the net. You gotta be frustrated to say the least at this point, while G2 are making some heroic saves on the defense.
Garrett didn't have much boost on that play, so it was a bit tough, but in the end, you feel like you should have had it. Here's Rizzo, has an opportunity. Tough spot for Justin off the back wall, looking for follow-up. Rizzo, once again, might just carry it himself. Almost a beautiful goal from Rizzo. Here's JNaps and G2 pressing the issue. Chicago top corner, and a 2-goal lead now for G2.
The JNaps Chicago duo set up from Rizzo. You saw that beautiful backboard triple touch, clearing the ball all the way across the net. It set up his teammates to have a lot more space to work with. Rizzo, a true starter to that play, as Chicago and JNaps can finally start to get some passing going between them. Now G2 really stepping it up on the mechanic side, but Justin, he's going to try and get one here. He does, and finds the back of the net. What
a shot from Justin. I was not expecting this, because you saw a player in net, and he just slips up the wall like that. So smooth from Justin. And I think the player in net just had no idea it was coming at all.
Yeah.
So NRG do get on the board here finally, and plenty of time to make the comeback. G2 do not want to let this one slip out of their hands. Down 2 games already in the series. You do not want to be put on match point so quickly. Feels like G2 has hardly gotten in this series at this point. This ball floating into the NRG corner. It's up to Justin to clear it out. Couldn't get by Chicago. G2 doing a better job of commanding that midfield presence. Doing a better job of holding on to this ball into the final third. Can they crack the code that is the NRG defense? And they do again. It's Chicago on the weak shot. Goes in right side.
And you can tell now they're starting to get more involved. Rizzo, look at him. He's falling. If you can see there, he actually got a little piece of Turbo, who is rotating into the net. That's why he was slow. He would have gotten that clear, but Rizzo just barely skimmed the side of his car. And now G2 starting to get up some energy. This is what we want to see from them, momentum being built. And I'm still watching Rizzo. He's getting more bumps, more involved on the offensive side. They're getting warmed up. This could be their comeback story right now into the series.
That is what it's shaping up to be. G2 looking to take game 3. Not over yet. NRG could very easily get 2 here with 40 seconds left, but they need to get out of their own end. G2 doing a fantastic job right now of keeping the ball, and even when there's a miscalculation there on the touch, G2 salvage it with a back pass, and they get back onto offense. Here's Rizzo. He's got JNaps right behind him, and they'll be happy to at least waste time if it's not a goal. Here's Justin, twirling through the air, can't get a second touch. Rizzo's touch a little bit dangerous, as Turbo was there, but picked out from JNaps. And NRG looking dire now in their own box. Shot off, or no, it doesn't come off the crossbar, just slips under it, and JNaps a 4-1 lead now for G2.
And at this point, you understand the aggression. You understand why everybody in that instance was pushed up so far for NRG. They're trying to get desperate, trying to force something onto the net. It's their last chance, as G2 are now going to run away with game number 3. A much better performance, a huge comeback this time for G2 as they put up 15 shots to NRG 6. This is the possession, the pressure, and the mechanics we've been waiting to see. They just needed the first 2 games to warm up, and Chicago finishes it off with the 5th goal.
Yeah, great way to cap off this game 3 for G2. They get back into the series before they're put on match point, and more importantly, they're looking a whole heck of a lot better here in this series.
Yeah.
Everyone contributing. Like you said, the pressure was there, and I think that G2 finally getting into this series. NRG now, I look to them as a team that needs to make some changes, because this was a blowout.
Definitely. For NRG, it wasn't just, Justin now who was just outpacing everybody. He was even struggling himself to really outbeat G2 in a lot of their instances on the offensive side because of the bumps, because of the aggression, that possession, and probably starving in a lot of boosts like I talked about. They were actually infiltrating those corners a little bit better. And for JKnaps, Rizzo, and Chicago, this is the pace you want to go at. NRG, they just got to bounce back a little bit, get things a little bit sorted more. I think they weren't expecting that big of a comeback in terms of playstyle from G2. So now the playing field is definitely even at this point.
16 shots to 6 in favor of G2. You mentioned it before. That's the final count here. And it does speak to what this game was for G2. Now, how do you string this together throughout a series is the question. Sure, it's great to have a good single game, but now you have to carry this through the next two. You know what NRG is going to be bringing to the table. And I'm very curious to see, can G2 keep this going? And what answers do NRG have now to this pressure that G2 is bringing?
It's going to be a difficult task for G2, especially, or for NRG, excuse me, especially when you got Rizzo getting involved in the physical side. That is my favorite part about Rizzo, whenever he can push in and do those kind of, I guess, hassle works where you have to throw yourself and get the bumps. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do the petty work and the dirty work where you're getting those bumps, being physical and getting aggressive. But Rizzo, he does it confidently. And let's see if he can keep it up here in Game 4.
To get things kicked off, G2 trying to put another win on the board, and Rizzo was looking for that block on that last defender, and the shot to be put away, and here comes Turbopulse, so back the other way. JKnaps and G2 would love to see the first goal. Here is something dangerous,
Double.
and Justin's going to get a second touch and down. He just does not miss those shots.
He doesn't miss ever. It's off the backboard. And I want to say that it's routine for Justin, but I don't want to take away from how beautiful and how perfect of an execution he always makes it look. He does make it look easy. He makes it look routine. But the simple fact is those are difficult reads to hit, and he does it consistently. Justin, the perfect start for NRG.
It absolutely is. For a player that has been scoring so many goals for this team throughout the season, and even today, a great start for him. A demo for Rizzo. Can he turn back around? He'll do it himself. He opens up the gates and then pushes through.
Rizzo says, you know what, Justin, you got a mechanical goal. I'm just going to take out your defenders and completely destroy anybody in my path. He also has the turn in position to get the goal himself. Rizzo, a great rotation and a great play.
So we're all tied up here in Game 4. NRG, you get another one. Here's a demo on JKnaps, and Justin off the back wall. Garrett's got to follow up, and he cautiously approaches this one to slow down that G2 offense. JKnaps still chasing after this one, was looking for possibly a defender that he could bump out of the way. Justin.
Double commit.
Gets popped up, and Chicago's got to bail out his team. You can see Rizzo and JKnaps got tied up a little bit. Now Garrett gets the bump, gets 2 bumps. Rizzo still gets a piece of the ball. And you can see immediately, as soon as it got dicey, G2 jumped all over it. Just collapse onto the play so that everything gets suffocated, and NRG can't put anything else together.
Yeah, G2, they're ready to get in the face of a lot of the shots as the defense has been picked up. But now, more physical plays coming out from both teams. I think Rizzo kind of kickstarted that off, but I've seen Turbo get more bumps. Garrett G actually went for the aerial bump play as well, where you pop it up, go for that aerial on the goalkeeper. And so far, it's been more of a dirty, gruesome battle between who can get physical. But Rizzo, he's not bumping anybody. This time he's shooting.
And I love seeing these types of plays because the pass off the ball comes off so quickly, and you know Rizzo knew it was coming, and quickly up to it he was, and puts it away for G2. So smart for them. And again, everything is a pass for G2. They're always expecting it. And that touch out to Rizzo is exactly what we're talking about. G2 now up by 1, but maybe not for long, as this one's going to come off the back wall. Justin calls it off to take it himself. Turbopulse there. It's too high. A scramble on the G2 goal line. And they are able to get it out in the end. This ball comes back to the NRG side. Chicago looking for control. Had all of G2 in front of them, or excuse me, NRG in front of them. JKnaps, a second touch down to Rizzo. He is there and cleared away by Justin. Now the attack's on for NRG. Quickly down the field. Stopped up by Chicago. back and forth right now between these two teams, but they're really just trading blows at this point. Turbo does get the touch. And plays it downfield. Garrett in pursuit. As he knows G2 is in a bit of an awkward spot. Justin backflips, has to let JNAPS come through. That shot is wide. Scary situation there once you give up the midfield, but NRG deal with it quite nicely.
And it's been a solid defense so far from G2. Rotation has not broken out at all, really. Saves have come out whenever needed, even with the bump plays and the demo plays. They've held on strong, unlike NRG, with Rizzo being aggressive and annoying. But so far, it's been good plays that I'd like to see from G2, where they're keeping it calm. They're not really overextending too much, but they're, like you said, finding passes whenever they get the chance.
It is getting a bit scary here on the G2 side, as NRG were cutting off a lot of the outlet passes that G2 were trying to find. Rizzo has options to his right. It was Chicago. Garrett knew it was coming. Now it's up to JNAPS. Tough shot from Garrett. JNAPS does get up to it. Demo comes out, so it's just Justin back with the ball given away. 1 minute to go, and G2 holding on to their 1-goal lead, and they'll be happy to if it gets them another win. Justin was going to play that one off the ceiling. NRG's defense holding strong since they gave up their last goal. Turbo trying to find Justin. It's still salvageable for Justin if he can get up, and Garrett's going to go. G2 now on the quick counterattack. They have an opportunity to put this game away. And a good bump as Justin goes flying. Rizzo gets 2, 3, 4 touches across the box. NRG has 20 seconds left to make something happen, or will it be G2? Rizzo making the immediate shot to just follow it up. A pinch down from Chicago. This ball popped up. Garrett looking for Turbo. It's JNAPS to cut it out.
The demo?
Just need 1 goal here. Turbo does get the demo. Chicago's touch is missed, but it goes down to the ground. You might have thought you were going to get a bounce, and G2 hang on in Game 4 to tie up the series.
Just in the final seconds, G2, they were lucky with that bounce. I was almost positive that was going to bounce.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate timing for NRG, as they actually looked really strong. They had that demo, had the space opened up. But for G2, I saw multiple times where in the first 2 games, they'd go up for a clear, they'd go up for a hit off the backboard. And it'd be a difficult read where they have to beat out the the attacker from NRG. And they would do exactly that. They would outpace him, get in front of the shot much earlier this time. And so I think they've really picked up not only the speed, but also the aggression and the way that Rizzo has been getting involved too. Everything so far has been elevated to that next level, and I think it really was just a warm-up. NRG did come into this with a series already being played out earlier. G2, this is their first series, so as things kind of progress in the series, we've seen a much cleaner and a much faster game from them.
Absolutely agree. It does feel like G2 just needed those first 2 games to get things going, and this game, I think, all things being equal, probably would have been how the first 2 games were. Very close, very tight. Not saying that G2 would have won all of them, but very tight game here. And this is what you expect from this series between G2 and NRG. Tight games, 1-goal games, both teams putting together great passing plays, both great individual plays as well. And that's what we got here in Game 4. And I expect to see that through the entirety of this series.
Yeah, and I love this matchup, Corelli. NRG and G2, I think almost every single season throughout league play, throughout the regional championship, no matter what, we always get a great series out of both these 2 teams. And I think it's because both of them know how to pass. Everybody here is a veteran of the game. Everybody's been experienced at this point. They know how to flood the ball forward, how to get these crazy passes. And we've seen that. We've seen a lot of, team plays. But then now we've got a battle between Justin, his solo plays, and maybe even Rizzo right now and his solo plays, because he's been the one who's actually been setting up his teammates with his solo efforts. We saw that part where he got like the triple touch off the backboard to set up his teammates. Plays like that are really what make this series between NRG and G2 always so special and fun to watch.
Yeah, I think Rizzo has been a huge part of the offense here in this series in particular. Not only the solo plays that you mentioned, we've seen a couple times throughout this series, but also the demo plays that open up a bunch of space as well. So for G2, they have certainly been a beneficiary of that. And right now, just going to resolve a quick connection issue as we get everyone back into the server. But for G2, things looking bright for them here in this series.
Yeah, and I think that they need a response from Turbo. I want to see Turbo get more involved on the field because I think Turbo is the equivalent of what Rizzo brings to his team on the G2 side. And if Turbo isn't matching that pace or that level that Rizzo can provide, I think it's going to be more of a struggle for NRG because Turbo, he's the player who's going to be rotating in, getting that extra weird hit, that creative, I guess, petty work to put in and getting those bumps. You know, I even saw during the season, I was watching the replay of NRG versus Sonics. A lot of goals in that series were actually caused from Turbo being aggressive and getting bumps on the backboard. That's what we want to see from him. So I think if you can evolve Turbo a bit more, get him kind of being a little bit more aggressive, and then also have Justin go for those solo plays, Gary G as the second man shooter, you've got a much better looking NRG who can match right now at this G2.
And I mean, you expect Justin to pull off the solo plays. We've seen it
Yeah,
time and time again. We
always.
don't have to say it. We've seen it ever since he came in the league. We saw it when he was in Rival Series. He's been able to do it every single season, no matter what team he's on. So the expectation is that Justin brings that every single time you're on the field. And I agree. You know, Turbo and Garrett, they could find their spot in the rotation here against G2, which honestly, that last game, I don't really think there was much of a problem for NRG. I thought it was just quite close. G2 came out on top. I think if you run back that game a few more times, it's go the other way pretty evenly.
The
So
coin flip. Yeah.
it really is. And that's what you expect from these two teams, NRG and G2. I mean, with the caliber of players that they have on their team, it should be a coin flip, in my opinion. And so far, it's been back and forth, 2-2 series, obviously, in this best of 7. I think really it's about how do you respond game to game. You know, you can go through every single time and say, okay, G2 had a rough start in the beginning. NRG then G2 bounced back. Now NRG has to respond. And that's what we're seeing now here in this series. What do NRG bring to the table to adapt to what G2 has?
Yeah.
Because a G2 has very clearly made changes from their first 2 games.
And the reason why this series is such an entertaining one is because it's really a match of tug of war. Both these teams, like you said, Corey, that's a great point. They are constantly responding, constantly adapting as the series goes on to what each other are doing. The demo started to come out from G2, so what did we see more? We saw more aggression, more demos than from NRG. It's a response. It's a give and take. And that is what I love about watching both these two teams play.
It certainly is entertaining, to say the least. And as we get into this next game, I'm curious to see what both teams bring, but in particular, what NRG do to find some more offense and create a lot more dangerous plays, because they had G2 on the ropes a few times, but they just couldn't find the mark. G2 was scrambling on defense. Here's JNaps into the midfield, gets bumped away by Garrett. Rizzo looking for the back wall. Does get it, and everyone went back to the net, leaves space open for Justin, and you simply just cannot do that.
And this is a fantastic touch from Garrett. Look at the side touch to Justin. Garrett G. I can't express how difficult that is to maintain a pass like that into the midfield that is soft enough to set up Justin, but also with the pace to beat out the defender. And then obviously the accuracy from Justin is always perfect.
And you can see the way that G2 were positioned. It was going to be tough for them. Here's Justin again, the follow-up for Turbo Pulsa. Justin gets in the way, and Turbo Pulsa gets the credit.
Turbo being the player to crash the net. That third man, as Justin can force the defense, force a goalkeeper to jump, and then flip into JNaps to get a little disruption on the defensive side. Justin doing all the heavy lifting there to force an open net for Turbo.
A very scary situation here for G2. You talk about the adjustments that NRG needed to make. Well, you're seeing them already. Justin running awry here. G2 have got to slow him down, put NRG on the back foot. And here's Chicago, maybe a chance off the post and in for Rizzo. And as soon as he say it, G2 takes care of business.
Chicago, look at the placement. I thought this was actually might be a goal, and so did Justin. You can see Justin assumed that it was going to maybe bounce off the post or the side post and then go into the ball, that upper 90 hit, but it bounced off the post, waiting there for Rizzo to finish it off. It's a little bit of a response, forcing the defense to get in an uncomfortable situation, and now we've got a classic game where G2 are just trailing by 1 goal. That's it.
Sometimes the best passes are a missed shot, and that works out for G2. Chicago gives way for Rizzo, and G2 come marching down the field, maybe for another one as it comes out to JNaps off the crossbar, looking for one more. Chicago back post, and it goes in past everyone from NRG. A tie game.
the one instance where I'd say hitting a slower shot is actually the best possible outcome, because you can see everybody from NRG assumed Chicago was going to destroy that ball into the back of the net.
And everything happened so fast for NRG. You could see them trying to stay with the play, and they run into each other as well. And that's the attack that you expect from G2. So quick. The passing play, the follow-up, it's all there for G2. And now tie the game up. Halfway through game 5 here in this best of 7. It's certainly looking like it's going to go 7 games. But we'll have to find out. Here's Garrett. Who's to work with here if he can get back to it. Rizzo's there to meet him. Now Turbo looking to keep possession. Very slowly approaching this one as he's looking for options across the box. Tried to go under and put it into the box. Couldn't do so. Turbo again. Just pass down to Rizzo, over to Chicago. Chicago comes around the side. Follow up from JNaps off the inside of the woodwork there. And Turbo's going to slap it downfield.
That whole play really stemmed from Rizzo being aggressive and getting in front of the passes. I think he's reading it well. Now Chicago going for the bump. Plays getting set up left and right for both these teams. The constant fight of shots. Who can set up the best opportunity right now? As JNaps has a great clear cross. Look at the passing from G2.
It's what you expect from G2, finding those lateral passes across in front of the net. This was going to come off the ceiling. Dangerous ball. Rizzo waiting for his turn, gets faked out, and he follows up. It goes into the NRG corner. G2 looking to reset the attack. JNaps out to Chicago. Justin's going to be there. And Rizzo shot on target. Turbo's got to make the save. He does so. Things looking good for G2, but they've got to convert, and this one's going to get NRG out for the time being. Rizzo picks up the ball. Touch from JNaps. Off the post again for G2. They're so close. Just off the mark. A minute left. Still a tie game despite the pressure that we're seeing, despite the shots and the passing that G2's putting on. It looks great, but they're not converting, and NRG might be able to punish. Everyone's flying for NRG as they didn't think that ball was going to go so far out.
That was a huge double commit. Turbo barely got a touch there. As like you said, Corelli, it has really been a lot of G2 knocking at the door, waiting for an opportunity. But I think at this point, they haven't been able to score whatsoever, so it's going to really come down to, will G2 get that final pass, that execution, or can NRG find some kind of transition? They need that perfect counterattack. They need to catch G2 off guard when they get aggressive.
15 seconds left. Tie game, overtime looming here in game 5. Chicago looking for Rizzo. This could be the last attack for either of these two teams in G2's favor. Garrett might actually have another thing to say as he throws it downfield. Nobody up for NRG. G2 just looking to see it out, and NRG be happy to let it drop and go to overtime. Kickoff goes in favor of NRG. They're looking to keep this ball in the midfield. Garrett picks it up. JNaps does get a touch. Pass out from Garrett. Nobody there for NRG, and Chicago blasts it downfield. No options there for Rizzo, but what a touch from Chicago. Makes something out of it. Not able to put it away in the end. The defense was able to react. Chicago again gives it up to Turbo Pulsa. Could he put it away? No, the shot's wide. Turbo can't put it away, and a follow-up now for G2 as they go on the counter. That was the opportunity, though, for NRG.
I mean, back-to-back chances, both these teams. You saw it, Rizzo, or excuse me, I think that was JNaps who almost got that crazy goal, but now Turbo off the backboard. Does he have the double? No, he got bumped. These teams, the opportunities are always presenting themselves, but they're just pixels away from finding that hit, that last touch.
Demo comes out. Turbo can't go up. Dangerous spot. The bump comes through. The shot from JNaps is wide. Another opportunity for G2. Things getting very tense. Both these teams know they've had opportunity that they didn't convert. Both teams giving up chances, and this could be it for NRG. Chicago does get up. Another shot turned away. G2's defense holding on strong. And a clear from JNaps does slip by the defense of NRG as they're forced to now make the save. Over a minute and a half, and dangerous. There's Turbo. What looked like he almost own goaled there. It would be the Turbo way, and now an opportunity for Turbo back on offense. Garrett plays this one across. NRG hunting, trying to find that gap in the defense. Time and space for Garrett, and a bit of boost.
But look at the 50s from Rizzo. All the way in the corner, he just destroys Gary G on that 50. Gets a clear out of it, and now he has space to set up JNaps off the crossbar. Now Rizzo the finish, it's not there yet. Gary G, now they've got the counterattack. That's what NRG need, because G2, they're pushing up too much, and then finally, they do get the finishing shot. It's Chicago to find the bottom right corner.
And that's what it takes for G2. They finally find the gap. They play it across, and those lateral passes are just so deadly from this team. Puts it away. And a very tense Game 5 here.
Wow. Looking for the organization from NRG. They had the defense set up, and there were chances where they could just flood the ball down, go left and right, get some give and goes to get through the midfield, and that's when you get the counterattack. So it's about how you respond to G2 whenever they miss those midfield passes, because right now NRG, while they had some chances, it wasn't too quickly moved down the field. G2, oh my, so much pressure from both these teams. This was one of the best games so far of this series. So close. It really could have gone either way.
A very, like we've been saying, a very tense game here for Game 5. And G2 now take the lead in the series. One more will push them on to the finals. And it would be an exceptional storyline for NRG to now fight back and force a Game 7. It would be NRG's way. And they have historically done well here at the regionals. So I would expect them to bring their A game here in this game in particular, especially against this G2 squad who has just been ramping up and looking better and better and better. And that's really not to say that NRG has looked worse, but it does feel like G2 are really starting to sort things out on their end.
Yeah, without a doubt. After those first two games, they started to pick up their speed, their mechanics, their positioning, and Rizzo as well. I think he stepped up huge, waiting to see what he does more with the ball. And Chicago JNaps, we always see those assisting duos. And I mean, it's even crazy to see G2 in this position to start things off. Last season, G2 fell down into the promotion tournament, and now they're here fighting against NRG to go into the finals to become regional champions. A huge turnaround, and it's all been thanks to that player JNaps. How do they respond, and how do they take this match point towards themselves, and if they can get the advantage right now early on?
We'll find out if they can. G2 might actually get it. JNaps is going to put it off the crossbar. Just a delicate touch, and it drops right in front of his face.
JNaps, I don't even think he expected this to not go in. It bounced out. Thankfully, he landed there. Had trust and confidence just to keep going forward. A beautiful midfield clear as he goes up 1-0 in the game.
30 seconds have come and gone here. And then the shot comes out from Justin. The turbo pulse to Demo opens up the space, and we got ourselves a tie game.
I love that it was Rizzo that turbo demoed to really take out that player, because it's Turbo and Rizzo. They're fighting right now on that third man spot. That player who's going to go for those demos, open up some unique, creative space for his team. And this time it's Turbo getting the upper hand against Rizzo. A great instant response here.
G2 fighting for it in their own corner. Dangerous spot as Garrett looking for his flip. Does get it back. Shot comes off the post from Justin. NRG were that close to finding another one. Here's Rizzo trying to relieve pressure. In the end, it comes right back out to Justin. JNaps throws it downfield. Rizzo was hunting for demos, but in the end gets demoed by Justin. Rizzo one to always try and put the defense in disarray. Rizzo plays it across. JNaps couldn't get to it, didn't have boost. Here's Chicago looking for JNaps downfield. JNaps back to Chicago, and Turbo does a great job to read that passing play. Rizzo with the shot off the post, though. Follow up from Chicago. He puts it off the post. Huge missed opportunity for G2.
Chicago wide open. It was a tight angle, but at this level, at this point, where you have the opportunity, especially against NRG, you gotta sink those shots. Let's see if he can make up for it right now as he has positioning in the offensive side. No, it's NRG to take the ball away and clear it.
And what can you say if you're G2? Huge missed opportunity, and now NRG might make you pay off the back wall. No follow-up. As Garrett played it down off the ceiling. Justin couldn't get a touch. Turbo's beat. This one's going off the NRG back wall. Looking for one more. JNaps is there. It's too high. Looking for one more. It's Rizzo's turn to go, and it's just too weak. The defense got back for NRG.
Getting away with murder. NRG, they're leaving the net open a couple of times, giving chances to G2, but thankfully, if you're an NRG fan, G2 are missing that open space, that open angle to find the net.
Halftime here in Game 6. G2 have had plenty of chances to put this series away. Maybe Rizzo's now going to get a second touch, and he does off the miss clear from NRG.
Rizzo, you can tell he positioned himself that Justin was going to get this hit because he went above the ball, expecting to get a dunk here. Justin, way too slow up in the air to get the touch, to even follow up with a clear. As Rizzo, they finally capitalized, and that's off a situation that I didn't even think was possible really for a big miss on defense.
There's Justin and NRG. They've got a little bit of work to do here. They don't want to let this one slip away. In a series where they started 2-0, haven't won since, and lost 3 straight. Big clear from JNaps. And Rizzo's there to receive it into the NRG corner. Justin calmly picks this one up. Now Garrett looking for a second touch. Does get it. The shot was wide in the end. NRG looking to be a bit more threatening now. JNaps looking to boom it away. A couple booming clears from G2 have just landed in the laps of NRG.
At this point, I mean, the question is are G2 going to kind of be a little bit passive here? Try and just stall this one out. They got a minute and a half, or are they going to keep that level of aggression, the midfield passing? Or will they keep pushing back? Just let the clock wind down.
Here's Justin. Bit of space to work with, looking for help. Down to Garrett, shots high. Turbopulsa, can he put it away? Down, up and over Chicago. It does go through, and NRG tie it up.
And a safer hit from Turbo. You love to see Justin finding Garrett in the midfield. And this is almost a recap, a replay from the shot that we saw Rizzo just get to take them and G2 in the lead. A similar shot where the defender just misses that read off the backboard. Nobody's there to get a hit. And now NRG, they've tied up the series. We've got a minute left to go here.
Justin, he's going to land on this one and let Garrett come through. NRG looking to put on the pressure immediately after scoring. Garrett. Rizzo almost let that one go over him. He does get the touch in the end. Turbo backing up, can't get it. And again, this game feeling very, very tense between these two teams, especially what's on the line here. Garrett, second touch. It's bouncing on the goal line. Can he put it away? And Justin comes through, finally for NRG, a 3-2 lead.
Garrett G off the top. I thought it was Justin with the way I saw him moving his car, but it was Garrett G, in fact, who had the beautiful play, the beautiful setup off the backboard. And that ball just stalled in front of the net for so long. Finally, we saw a finish as NRG are looking to run away with this game.
And another shot from Justin, turned away by Rizzo. Things have really ramped up for NRG at this point. G2 have been locked in their own end. Justin with no boost. Picks up one pad, and Rizzo does get a piece of his shot. NRG just keeping G2 stuck in their own end at this point. JNaps. G2, do they have anything left here for Game 6? Are we going to a Game 7? NRG looking to make it so as Justin almost getting one more. Chicago actually does pop it up. Still very delicate situation, and finally put away by Justin. And NRG will confirm a Game 7 here and put G2 on the brink. And what a close series.
Yeah, that was so close to say the least. I mean, this was great. I loved how NRG actually managed to respond here, because it felt at first like G2, they were looking like the much more dominant team. But every time G2 would go up and score, or at least have a solid chance, it seemed like NRG were right there with them to respond. I think back to the initial goal that G2 managed to get. NRG responded instantly after that first goal. A great performance here from Justin, but then Garrett G, that clutch play where he was able to get multiple backboard touches and set up his teammates. That was the difference maker for this series.
And Garrett had 5 shots alone, 12 in total for NRG. And for them, like I said, I think it really picked up here at the end of this game. It felt like NRG all of a sudden just figured out the G2 defense.
Yeah.
They were quickly getting to the ball. They were putting things together. They were so dangerous, especially off the back wall. And I think that just comes from the faster pace, obviously. The boost starvation that they were giving to G2 was just, it was too tough for G2 to stay with it. And eventually they cracked.
Yeah. And NRG, I mean, while the scoreboard says 4-2, it really felt neck and neck the whole series. You could tell that both these teams had those midfield passes. And Rizzo, Turbo, going for the demos. We got Justin, Garrett G getting the backboard touches, JNAP Chicago doing the passing. This is probably one of the best Game 7s we can ask for right now. Both these teams neck and neck with playstyle, with positioning, mechanics. G2 have picked it up, but so have NRG. This is going to be such a great Game 7.
I mean, this is what you expect. NRG and
Definitely.
G2, Game 7, everything on the line. You love to see it. Who comes out on top? That's the question. And if you ask me, Turtle, I have no idea, honestly, at this point. It has been back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, Go on.
I was going to say, NRG have looked good as of late, but can they hold on to it here in this game?
Yeah. I mean, the first 2 games, you would have asked me what would have happened. I would have definitely said G2, or excuse me, NRG, excuse me. G2 were not looking great, but it was that warm-up. They picked up the pace. Everything looking beautiful so far from both these teams. The question is, who's going to show up where it matters most in Game 7?
It certainly has been a far cry from what we saw in league play between these 2 teams. G2 certainly picked things up. There's a big miss from Turbo, but Justin there to bail him out. JNAP's shot blocked. G2 are putting on some pressure here. Can Justin carry it over Rizzo? He can't. Looking for follow-up. JNAP's isn't going to go. He knew he was beat. Here's JNAP's again. Garrett winning the midfield, and back and forth these teams are going. Trading midfield possession. Justin trying to stay with it. Here's Garrett. Goes straight back to Chicago. Chicago gives it back to Garrett, and Garrett gets by 2 now. It's just Rizzo, and he does make the clear through the corner. And Chicago just booms it into the NRG corner and and looks to see what comes out of it.
And this
Dangerous
is really passive.
ball. Rizzo, shot on target, and this one floating across the net, and NRG just couldn't stay with it. Rizzo saw it all the way.
And Rizzo stopped the moon pinch as that ball just went flying off the backboard. A frustrating hit for NRG. Nobody expected that out of the challenge in the corner. And then thankfully Rizzo is there for a great punish, a great use of space as he flies across the net as they go up. Let's see if NRG can respond so fast like they did last game.
This ball dangerously bouncing around in the NRG side. G2 doing well to give space when they have to and making it tough for NRG to break out. Here's Turbo. Trying to push this one across off the back wall, and it goes just a bit too far. Justin was there. Got a little bit more than he wanted on it. Turbo off the back wall again. Garrett's there. Tough one to save, but it was shot directly at Rizzo. And again, Rizzo doing well on the back line to clear it away, but NRG certainly knocking on the door at this point. Garrett, second touch. Rizzo just going post to post right now, clearing it away for G2.
I mean, the defense from Rizzo, these past 3 to 4 shots have all been saved by Rizzo. His rotations in that have been spot on. And these shots, while they haven't been the best, they have been threatening right now. And Rizzo is still able to find that save, maintain his boost, a player who picks up pads all the time. He's being very efficient on the defensive side. So G2, you have to break that defense. Maybe go for a demo. I can expect Turbo to flood the net right now.
G2 Looking to put on the pressure, and a big miss there from NRG. Can Chicago get around? And Turbo still clears it away. My goodness. Very sloppy sequence there from NRG, and they are able to get out of it. There's Turbo. Navigating through his own corner. Can't get by JNaps. Minute and a half left. G2 only up by 1 goal here. NRG would love to get one now instead of the last seconds of this game. JNaps is going to carry it all the way, but I've been clear from Turbo on the goal line. G2 still putting on the pressure here as NRG are really backed up. Here's their chance to break out. Turbo shot on target, turned away by JNaps. Justin goes, Garrett goes as well, and a second touch clears it away for G2.
And we're in a similar situation as we have been most of this series, where it's G2, all the pressure and possession on the offensive side is really theirs. But then NRG, it's coming down to how they move the ball out, how they transition, and get the counterattacks. But it's JNaps here to get the second goal. We've got 50 seconds left.
And he comes out with 40 boost, and the ball just pops out, and Justin's stuck in no man's land. He knows he can't challenge it because he's completely beat, but it's tough to save a shot from that angle. JNaps barreling down on the ball. 50 seconds left, and G2 looking to take the series.
Needed a better touch from Garrett G. That has got to be painful to experience and to go through right now for Garrett. He needed a better touch. But we're seeing if possibly there's a chance here. 35 seconds for NRG.
Dangerous ball as Justin was there, gets the demo. NRG need one now if they're ever going to get it. This ball bouncing and cleared away by JNaps. G2 looking to put one more away. 18 seconds left now. Turbo needs to get this block. Good fake by Rizzo to make him go. 2 from NRG. And 10 seconds left. It's looking all G2. That might be it. Chicago puts it away. 3-goal lead with 8 seconds left. And G2 are going to take them down in 7 games.
And their matchup in league play, NRG and G2, it was actually NRG who slept away with the series, who got that Game 5 performance, was just running away with everything. But now the tables have been turned. It's G2 to look dominant here, but it's Game 7. They've looked really great all series long besides the first 2 games. They picked it up, and now they're here to take themselves into finals.